What's up, guys? Diggy here, and I guess I'll get started. So, as you can see, I'm standing in front of the Golden Gate Bridge, and the view is pretty awesome. So, going to be doing this AMA from in front of the Golden Gate Bridge. So, basically, what I want to do today is I want to walk through some stuff. What I've been doing is I've been going over, basically, I've been doing some free calls, like 15-minute call schedules with people to try and help them with their online businesses. And the reason for me doing this, besides just being able to help people, also is obviously to get feedback on what people are struggling with the most, what is holding them back, what are the obstacles, that that's basically stopping them from moving forward, from having success. And what I've found a few common denominators. It's nothing new, but it seems to be the pain point for a lot of people. I can relate because I've gone through that. I've had that as a problem for a long time. Still have it from time to time. So I want to share that also. And then there's a couple questions that you guys have asked me in the group and privately, and I'd like to address those also. So what I'm going to do also is I'm just going to share my screen over here. Let me just open this up. So I'm going to share the desktop over here. Perfect. All right. So let's see if we can get this going. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing now is I just want to go over some of the core concepts. And I think it's important to really just start with the basics. I know we all just want to make a bunch of money and we want to be, making sales and getting to that top level. But to be able to do that, the foundation needs to be good. And the foundation is the core concepts, right? It's the very beginning. It's the very basics. But those need to be covered before you can really have success and move forward. So let's keep in mind the number one thing when it comes to starting your own online business, right? It's a problem solution. That is the very core of what a business is. People have problems and your product or your service is a solution, okay? You are not selling your course or your product or your service. People are not buying your course. They're not buying your service, okay? They don't care about that. What they care about is the result, and that is what you're selling. And your product, your course or your service, it's just a medium to get there, all right? So you don't buy Six Figure Inc. because you want to buy the course. You want to get the results, which is learning how to build a business or improve your marketing or being part of the community, right? You don't buy a weight loss product because you love the weight loss product. You want to get the results. That's what you're buying. And the course or the service or the coach, right? Whatever you're selling, that's just the medium. It's the vehicle. And whether that's, a webinar or a podcast or one-on-one coaching or in-person meetups, whatever it is, that's just the medium to get the results. So keep that in mind, okay? It's very easy to start thinking about your product or your service as, this is what people are buying. But don't forget, people are buying the results. They really couldn't give a rat's ass whether, you have the fanciest product in the world or, whether you have just a basic Word document. As long as it gets them the results, they will be happy with it. And obviously, you need to have some sort of high quality, right? And ideally, you want your product to be as comprehensive as possible, but the core is you want it to get the results that you're promising. If you can do that, you're going to make happy customers, and that's going to get you testimonials, and it's going to get you more people buying your product. So always remember, if you're stuck with this stuff, right? Problem, solution, that is what you are doing. So how do you start? And like I said in the beginning, basically I've done several calls now over the last few days, a couple calls a day. And one recurring theme that kept coming up is I don't know where to start, right? I don't know how to start. That's one of the problems, right? So how do you get started? Well, since I've covered the problem solution section, right? That's all that you need to do. At the very first instance, you need to find out which problem are you solving, right? What is your solution for the problem? But what you want to do is you want to find a painful problem, right? Not just any problem, because there's a big difference between unimportant problems and more painful and more urgent problems. So an unimportant problem would be something like figuring out what to do on a Friday night, right? Some sort of entertainment, maybe funny cat videos or Netflix, I don't know, right? That's not very painful, it's not very urgent, and as a result, people aren't going to pay a lot of money for that, right? They'll pay $10, $50, maybe $100, right, for some entertainment, but they're not going to pay $1,000, you know, to be entertained on a Friday night, right? Just speaking in general terms here. But for example, if you have some sort of chronic illness, or you need to learn how to make money, or you need to learn how to get out of debt, or you need to learn how to save your marriage, or how to improve your relationship, those are really painful problems that people will pay hundreds, thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars for, right? If you have a big investment portfolio, people pay fortunes to fund managers and advisors to learn how to invest their money, right? Same with real estate, same with starting an online business, right? Training programs, real estate programs, they all go for thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. And that's because it's solving a painful problem and it justifies the price, right? It's hard to justify paying $1,000 or $5,000 just to get some entertainment on a Friday night. And obviously, you know, you can go to a club or something and spend that money, sure. But just speaking in general terms, that's going to be tough to do that. Whereas, you know, if you have something that's really painful, like I just explained, right? Or you've been struggling with being overweight for your entire life, and there's something that can help you lose the weight legitimately and improve your life and give you more energy and all that kind of stuff, you know, that could be worth thousands of dollars, and you would pay it over and over and over again, right? Or if you struggle from chronic fatigue, or if you have serious insomnia and you can't sleep, and there's something that can finally help you sleep after months or years of not being able to sleep properly, that's worth a bunch of money to people, right? It all depends on the problem. So you want to find a painful problem because you're going to be able to charge people more money for it. And of course, the urgency is also important, right? Again, the example I give in Six Figure Inc., which you all have access to with a niche selection, basically, for example, golf, right? Golf is evergreen, and some people will pay a lot of money to improve their game of golf, but it's not urgent, right? So whether you want to learn how to improve your golf game tomorrow, it can wait till next week or next month or 6 months from now, right? It's not a real urgency. But there are other niches or other problems where there is real urgency. So, for example, a lot of medical conditions, they're urgent. They need to be solved now. They can't wait till tomorrow or next week, right? Same with money and finance type stuff. You want now. You want to get out of your situation now. You want to get that relief from it. You want to make your relationship better now because you can't wait another week or another month, because who knows, by that time it may have gotten so bad that it's just over, right? So urgency and pain is a big guidance kind of to go with. And what I'd say also is just stick to the big three niches. If you don't know where to start, health, wealth, and relationships, those are the big three niches, and you pretty much can't go wrong with those, right? So there's a lot of subcategories in those. Health can be any sort of remedy, right? Insomnia, tinnitus, pregnancy, who knows, all those kind of things. It can be weight loss, it can be fitness. There's so many subcategories within that, right? And then you have wealth, again, so many different subcategories. It can be investing, it can be trading, and it can be debt relief, it can be building a business, it can be a side hustle, it can be all sorts of things, all right? Same with relationships, also a whole lot of varieties. It can be, you know, how to get better at dating, how to get better at social interactions, how to make friends, how to do public speaking. It can go into marriages, right? It can go into parent-children relationships and how to improve that. All sorts of things, right? So typically in these niches, the problems are painful and they tend to be urgent. And that's where also people just have these, right? It's just part of the human condition. People have health issues. People have wealth issues because everyone wants to learn how to make more money or keep what they have. And everyone has relationship issues, right? Friends, parents, children, spouses, partners, and so on and so forth, right? So because they're also tied to the human condition, it means the market is very, very broad. It means your potential customer base is massive. If you try and go too niche, you know, you might end up with somewhere where it's just very difficult to get customers, difficult to get a customer base, and just not be able to, you know, you're going to make it so much harder for yourself if you go into a niche where there's not a lot of buyers and you have to figure out how to sell that, right? So that's my advice there on how to get started. Then we move on to another common thing, SOS, shiny object syndrome, right? So again, that seems to be a common thing that comes up, and I'm not immune to it. I went through it, so I can speak from experience here. Shiny object syndrome is literally the worst thing that stops you from success, right? Because you start with one thing and you don't finish it, and you move on to the next thing, you move on to the next thing, you move on to the next thing, and the result is you've done 20 things and you haven't really had success with any of them, and you never will, because you keep moving around and you don't give yourself the time to be able to focus, to learn the skills, to overcome the obstacles, and to really build something that can make you money, right? So focus, right? Very easy acronym to remember. Follow one course until success. So when it comes to shiny object syndrome, okay, I've spoken about this quite a bit recently on my YouTube channel, also within the course. You want to focus on one model, right? It doesn't matter really what it is, but since you're in Six Figure Inc., I'm going to assume you're going to want to do something either with creating your own products or services, or affiliate marketing, or whatever the case is. But you choose that model and you stick with it, right? It's a proven model. It has the ability to make 7 figures per year, so you know it can make you the money, and you know you enjoy it, right? Hopefully, you should choose something that you enjoy and that has the potential to make you 7 figures, right? So let's just assume that you do enjoy this model, you create it around an industry that you like, and it has the potential to make you money. Then what you want to do is you want to stop everything else, right? If you're doing this, if you're going to create your own info products and sell them online, forget everything else, block everything else. Stop doing affiliate websites, stop doing e-com, stop having clients, right? Do what you need to do to make money, but for the rest, cut out everything and focus on that one thing for multiple years. Okay, you want to, and that's why it's important to like it, because you want to choose that one thing that you can work on for the next few years. All right, that's how any business, any company gets big. There's very few things that really make multiple 6 figures or 7 figures just by focusing on it for a few weeks or a few months, right? Something that really turns into a consistent, profitable, multi-6 figure plus business is something that the owner has worked on for multiple years and continues to work on, because that is how you learn the problems. That's how you learn the skills. That's how it gives you an advantage over anyone else who's in the market, who's not serious, who's just jumping around all the time, right? Once you build up your business to a high enough level, even if people try and copy you, then they're not going to succeed, right? Sure, you might get the 1 or 2 outliers, but for the rest, most people won't be able to compete with you because you've been at it for so long. You've built up this amazing thing. You've overcome all these problems. You've built up the reputation, and that alone kind of creates, you know, this just competitive advantage or this protection for your business. The fact that you've been doing this for so long, right? So that's what you want to aim to do. You want to aim to build something now, whatever you're working on, that you can work on for the next multiple years, maybe even the next decade, right? So stop jumping ship, all right? And I'm not saying don't buy any more courses, but I want you to keep learning only around that model that you're choosing, right? So if you're following the Six Figure Inc. model and you're building your own info products and you're building your own courses and selling them online, you can buy other people's products. I think you should, right? Because there's a lot of other people who do this and who have experience with this, who have different insights, who have different skill sets, who have seen and experienced things in a different way, right? But because they're all related to the same strategy and the same concept, by learning from a few of the best people, right? You go out there and you buy other people's courses, you take all their knowledge, you combine it, and then you have the best available knowledge, techniques, and examples, as well as access to the best people in the space that you can ask when you have questions, right? So by joining other people's courses, right? Maybe you go and join, for example, Dan Henry or Danielle Leslie or a Pro Course Creator. These are all people who teach you how to build an online course, right? By joining their communities and their courses, you can go, whenever you have a problem, you can go into any of these groups and you can ask the owners, right? Like you could ask me, but you can also ask the other people in the group. So all of a sudden, you have multiple mentors and you have a network of literally thousands of people that could give you feedback, right? So if you're busy and you're making progress and you built your sales page and your funnel and for whatever reason it's not working, ask for feedback, share it in these groups and these courses. That's why I really like learning from multiple people, right? And getting coaching and joining masterminds and mentors and buying people's products, but they all have to be related to the same thing, okay? You can't go out there and purchase, one course, you buy Six Figure Inc., right? And you start making your own info product, and then you go buy a course in e-com, and then you go buy a course in client marketing, and then you go buy a course in affiliate marketing, and you're all over the place because they're all complete opposites. And that's, the shiny object syndrome where you're jumping around. So I'm not saying don't buy other stuff. Do it. Keep learning. It's awesome, right? Get more mentors, learn from other people, but do it around that one model. So you want to choose that one thing that you want to do for the next few years, and then you want to learn as much as you can about that specific model from the top people in that industry. Get the top 5 books, buy the top 5 courses. You know, if you have to even go further and you can afford it, get a mentoring, maybe a mastermind or one-on-one coaching with some of the best people in the space. And that gives you the best possible insights to the knowledge and the networks and, you know, what is working, and it gives you the best possible chance of success. All right. So that is really, after years of doing that, the best advice I can give you for succeeding. And I've also got a couple tips here that I pre-planned over here. So again, a common thing that keeps coming up, and this is also, these are all things that I've learned the hard way. That's why I'm sharing them with you. Don't reinvent the wheel, right? That's the biggest thing that people struggle with and that holds them back from success, right? I did it for the longest time. I was trying to do stuff on my own and trying to figure out new stuff. Don't do it. Just copy what works, model what works, right? Modeling other successful entrepreneurs, especially in your space, or people who are doing 7 figures, if you model that and you follow their system and you apply that to your own business, you will be able to get to 6 figures, right? 100K a year is possible by purely modeling people. Multiple 100Ks, so multiple 6 figures is possible by modeling other people, right? Model their page templates, model their headlines and their structures, right? And obviously don't copy it word for word, because that's just, it's not nice towards those people, but also you don't learn anything from it, but just model it, right? If this is a structure that someone who's making 7 figures is using, model it, right? Because the chances are it's going to work. It's proven. Those people have spent a lot of time and money to get to where they are, and they're using that. So obviously it's working for them, which means that the model is proven and it can work for you, okay? Secondly, consistency and daily action. Super important, right? You want to stay consistent. So like I said, again, it's not going to happen overnight. You're going to have to work at something for multiple years. Now, you can get success within multiple months, sometimes even within a few weeks, right? It's entirely possible for you to start making money in the next few weeks, or maybe even in the next, week or so, if you really wanted to. But the key to success is consistency. Every single day, keep at it, right? Even on the weekends. Sure, take a break from time to time, but even then, spend an hour reading a book or learning or meditating or watching some video or learning or making some content for your business or something, all right? Daily action, super important. And then another thing, again, this is something I've also been guilty of for a long time. I try not to do it. It still slips in from time to time. But Parkinson's law, okay? Set deadlines. Parkinson's law basically means that time will expand for the amount of time that you allow, right? So if you don't set a deadline, or you set a deadline for 6 months from now, you're going to take the entire 6 months. If you don't set a deadline, you might never end up doing that thing. If you set something for a month, you're going to take a month. If you set something for 3 days from now, you're going to take 3 days from now, right? So it's super, super important to set deadlines for yourself, especially when it comes with your business, right? Because there's no one above you. There's no boss. There's no one to tell you what to do. So you have this freedom, but at the same time, you have the responsibility and you need to be disciplined. And the easiest way to do that is to set deadlines and to stick to them, all right? So again, common theme that comes up time and time again. Yeah, I'm going to start an online business. I'm working on something. I'm building the product, right? When are you going to have it ready? I don't know. I'm working on it, right? That's the wrong answer. You need to know exactly when you want things done. So if you're you're working on the content, give yourself however long you need, right? A week, a month, 2 months. That's when you want the course done. You're creating a sales page, you want it done by next week, 2 weeks from now. You want to create a whole new funnel, you want it done by, 3 days from now. And obviously over time, you'll be able to get more accurate and know kind of how long things take. But in the worst case, even if you don't hit your deadline, right? If it's not done by the deadline, you've at least worked a lot harder and gotten a lot more done, and then you extend the deadline and you set the next deadline to complete the rest of it, right? So for example, I've been doing that with Six Figure Inc. I wanted to get it done a lot quicker, but then things happened and I was running another business, obviously, and I'm busy with other stuff. And then I realized, like I had to do it properly, and I changed my vision along the process. So basically, by the time I hit the first deadline, I wasn't anywhere near done. So I set the next deadline and set the next deadline. And sure, it's taken longer than the original deadline, but if I wouldn't have set those deadlines, it would never have gotten finished, right? So just as human beings, we tend to have this thing where we just leave it to the last moment. That's Parkinson's law, right? Probably with school tests back when you were in school, you did the same, right? You leave it to the very last day or the last night to study for the test the next day, even though you had 3 months before the time to do it, right? So it's the same with this. Set deadlines for everything that you're doing. Set deadlines, right? Set deadlines when your product is going to be done, when your launch is going to be done, because otherwise it's just never going to happen. And guess what? Then you're not going to have any success. All right. Again, last point, done is better than perfect. This is kind of similar, but basically it comes down to wanting everything to be perfect. And I know how that is. I'm quite a perfectionist myself. I like to have stuff, neat and organized and done and complete. Part of the reason why it's taken me so long to work on this new version of Six Figure Inc., of course, because I just want it all right. And that's why I'd expanded it a lot more, right? But you just want to get stuff done and you want to get it out there. And if something is 80% done and it's good enough, it's better to ship it than trying to get everything perfect, because you will never get everything perfect. I can guarantee you that. You will never get everything perfect before you launch, right? So it's better to get it done as best as you can, set your deadlines, and then launch it, right? Get it out there, get it done. And then over time, as it's out there, you start fixing things. You start getting the feedback, you start improving it. And that's why, again, this one thing comes in where you want to do one thing for a few years, because that allows you the time to be able to build your product into the most perfect version of what it can be. And it allows you to have that competitive edge over your competitors, right? Because you have that advantage and you're going to be able to do something and have something that they can't compete with if they're just coming into the market, because you've been working on this for years, right? They might just be out there with their 70 or 80% done product, whereas you've launched it and you've perfected it over the years and you've built it out so much that people can't just come in there and compete with it. They're going to have an inferior product, right? So again, that is the advantage. And when you're starting out, don't worry too much about making everything perfect, okay? Make it as good as you can and launch it, and then perfect it over time. That's why you're continuing to work at it over time. You want there to be something, and you want to be able to deliver on what you're selling, but done is better than perfect. So while this is not anything practical in terms of a strategy that you can go and implement to start making sales, this stuff is the foundation, it's the core, and you need to fix all of this stuff before you can get the rest right. Okay, so again, hopefully you enjoyed this and hopefully you take it to heart, right? Go back, even if you have a business that's running already, go back. What problem and solution is your business focused around, right? What problem are you solving? Right? Keep in mind, you're selling the result, not the product. Go look back at that. Are you in the right niche? Are you solving something that's painful and urgent enough? Right? Are you focusing on one thing? Are you going to work on this for the next few years? Keep learning. Stop buying other stuff. Only buy stuff related to what you're doing. Don't reinvent the wheel. Model what works, right? Consistent and daily action. Set deadlines. Super important. And done is better than perfect. So that's what I wanted to share over here. And then one thing also I wanted to share real quick is, let me see if I can get this over here. So in the Facebook group, Huitzi, she basically asked this question, so I wanted to answer this. Again, guys, I want to do more of these AMAs, more regularly anyway, maybe once a month or so. So you can definitely put the questions in the Six Figure Inc. members group. And of course, next time I will also announce it in advance. So you can join the AMA and then, you can get on here and, maybe be on the camera, speak also, and I can help you in real time, because the goal of this is really to help you guys succeed, right? I want you to succeed. I want everyone in Six Figure Inc. To make more money and to have a successful business and to improve their lives. That's the whole point of it, right? So Basically over here, my friend is very into Forex trading and he has several EAs, which is electronic advisors. It's basically like plugins for your trading platforms, usually MetaTrader. And they have custom things that look at certain indicators and basically make trades based on that. So for those of you who don't know, so he's created this EA. He feels comfortable enough to launch. Our current strategy is to give it away for free in exchange for the traders to open an account with a brokerage firm that we partner. Right, so okay, that's doing like CFDs. Basically, you get paid every time someone opens a brokerage account. Sometimes that's a CPA, like a flat fee. Sometimes it's a rev share. Sometimes it's a bit of a hybrid of both. Right, so that's a strategy that a lot of people do when it comes to the Forex space with brokers. They give away some sort of course or trading or EA for free in return for the person signing up through their link to the broker, and then they get a commission. Right, so obviously in Six Figure Inc., I have the case study around, I built a Forex signal service and that's in there. So she watched that. And the main problem is getting traffic, all right? So the problem with traffic for certain niches, especially on Facebook and sometimes on Google too, is that they can be a bit strict about it because certain niches just get abused and they're just very strict with their policies around this. Okay, so question, probably can't run Facebook ads or Google ads. Based on my research, I found Facebook groups that allow traders to give and sell EAs. And I believe there's a dozen ways to drive traffic, but I don't know what I don't know, so I need your advice here. You know, I can write a blog, do SEO, but all of that stuff is going to take time. Yeah, so basically I've actually spent a lot of time with this niche. I've run several businesses within Forex and finance spaces, so I can help out nicely here. First of all, I'd say, and this is something that applies not just to this business, but to anything. If you're looking to get traffic, start with paid traffic. Okay? Pay for traffic. SEO, blogging, all that kind of stuff, it's cool. It's a side thing. It should not be your main focus. It's going to take you way too much time. It's not predictable. It's not scalable. And you're just going to struggle with it. I've made that mistake for many years. And the easiest way is just to pay for traffic. You get instant results, instant feedback. You can tweak it, and you can scale it up as much as you want. Okay, so that's the first recommendation. I'm not too sure about Forex on Facebook or Google. I think you're going to be able to run it. It all depends on, you know, what you're doing. If you're giving something away and it's just an email opt-in, you might be able to get away with it. Obviously, you want to stay within the policy, so make sure you have your necessary disclaimers, right? Your privacy policy, your earnings disclaimers, all of that stuff. And obviously, you want to be careful. You want to stay within the policy regarding any sort of claims, right? So you can't make claims that people are going to make money or any sort of guarantees like that. Right, so I think you would be able to advertise on Facebook or Google. You'd have to, like I said, it just depends on that. For Forex specifically and finance stuff, if you don't want to do Facebook and Google, there's a lot of other options where you can get traffic, right? So one of them obviously is Bing. I do cover it in the training. Bing is great. It's North America. They're much more lenient on their advertising policies. So stuff like Forex, you can do that. And it's just obviously the volume is a lot less than, for example, Google or Facebook. But, you know, it's an English-speaking market. It's North America. They tend to have a high purchasing power. So that's something I would recommend you can test out. It depends a bit on your budget also, right? How much you're willing to spend. So there's two really big media buying sites where you can just purchase a ton of finance traffic. For example, Financial Media Corp. So FinMC is one of them, and the other one is strikepointmedia.com. Both of these, you can just purchase as much traffic as you want. The thing is, this is usually for larger media buys, so your order is going to start, your minimum order is typically $10,000, right? So you have to spend at least $10,000 with them worth of traffic to be able to purchase from them. You can't go there and buy like $500 or $1,000, okay? They typically deal with bigger things, with bigger advertisers, and that's going to start at $10,000. If you have the budget though, this traffic is really good and you can scale this up as much as you want, right? For example, Agora, which is a massive finance company, publishing company with many different branches, they spend, I've heard, over $500,000, so after over $500,000 a month with purely with FinMC alone, right? So You could scale this to the moon. Again, it's just a question of budget. StrikePoint Media is pretty much the same as Financial Media Corp, but obviously they just have different lists, different sources of traffic. Again, it's mostly in the finance space. So those are two options. And then one thing you can do, which I found worked very well for me when I was doing Forex stuff, was solo ads, right? There's a lot of people who have Forex traffic, and basically you can just buy that traffic and it works really well. So one of them, this is more focused around online marketing and internet marketing on Udemy, but this is one source. I have a few sources also, like private Skype groups and stuff. I'll post it in the group, or DM me if you want access to those specifically. If you're interested in the Forex space, I can share that with you basically in the group tomorrow. So that would be my advice anyway on this specific issue. You probably get away with advertising on Facebook or Google. I think it shouldn't really be a problem. Like I said, it just depends on what you're doing. But again, 100% paid traffic. Don't try and get organic traffic with blogging or doing SEO or any of that kind of stuff. You know, once your business is up and running and everything's on autopilot and you're making tons of money and you don't know what to do with yourself, go and pay someone to do SEO for you or do the blogging, right? The blogging can be, and this is actually something I've covered within the new modules in Six Figure Inc. Having a blog is a good idea, and having a YouTube channel is a good idea, because you can create content that is going to be evergreen for your business. That's going to help as part of your sales material, right? So you make everything that has a purpose, and you can repurpose that content and you can put it into your email autoresponder and you can use it as a value sequence, right? So there's definitely a merit in having a blog and having content, for example, in the written form on your blog, and video content on, for example, YouTube, or having a podcast or whatever. But you don't want to be doing that as a way to get traffic, right? You want to be doing that as a way to build out your value, and to be able to use that to send paid traffic to that, to get people to know you and to really build out your brand, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Paid traffic. Again, don't try and do all of these things at once. So if you want, you can choose Bing, or you can choose FinMC, or you can do solo ads, but just start with one and see how it works for you. Test it out and then do the other. Don't try and do more than one traffic source at once, because it's just going to be too tough to actually figure out what works. If you do have a budget, FinMC can be really, really good, but solo ads also can be good. So I hope that works, that helps you out. Let me know in the group if you do have any questions. And that kind of brings me to the end of the session, basically, because I'm on here and I've shared my thoughts on basically on the core concepts. Huitzi, pretty much the only one who's asked the question. So again, guys, I'm here to help as much as I can, right? I'm not getting paid extra to do this. Really, I don't have to do it, but I really want to see you guys succeed, and I really want to make Six Figure Inc. a place where everyone, like all the members, have enormous success, get results, make more money. And yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm in the group every single day. Ask me questions. Join the AMA next time, you know. Let me know what you're struggling with, because if you don't tell me, I can't help you. And I'd really love to help you succeed. And, you know, if you're in a position where you don't need help and you're already making 7 figures or more per year, let me know, because then maybe I'll come to you for help. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you are watching this in the replay, again, leave a comment, tag me in it. I'm here in the group. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.